Almost every single day in 2025, I opened up this book and started writing. And I would be lying if I say it didn't influence my life, or at least that year, in ways I probably didn't imagine from the beginning, because it did. And in fact, I would attribute about 95%. I'll keep saying that number. I would attribute, oh my gosh, where's my voice? I would attribute about 95% of my success last year to this book. I accomplished things not necessarily that I expected, but in ways I never thought I could. What I mean by that is that I felt they were more aligned with what God wanted for me than really what I thought I wanted for me, which really wasn't as fulfilling, wasn't as good. Anyways, it's just been a good book. Now, I want to talk about why I believe journaling is one of the best methods for self improvement. And I think the biggest thing is that your brain treats and it prioritizes information on paper after it's been written rather than information in your head or as if you were to share it with somebody. You guys might have had that same experience where, say, something happens to you and you have a major light bulb moment and you're like, I need to write this down, right? I need to write down this exact experience, this exact revelation that God has given me. And because you didn't, suddenly you forget it. It's like, wait a minute, 2 hours go by, 15 minutes, heck, 5 minutes goes by, and you're like, what was I even thinking? And that exact same thing happens to every single one of us. It's just natural. For me, it kind of reminds me of the story of the parable of the talents, where God sends people out with talents. And for those who don't use those talents, he takes them away. But others, with those talents, they multiply them and they make more out of what God has given them. And that's the same thing that we can do when God gives us a revelation or gives us inspiration. He gives us a major light bulb moment. It's important that we write it down so that we can make more of it rather than forget it. After you prioritize this information, it gives a different perspective. It brings clarity to what it was in the first place. And in fact, I'd say it gives it more power. And this can even be done for like more vague goals, like these smaller, more minute goals, right? When you write those things down onto your journal or onto paper, suddenly they become much bigger. They become much greater. By writing, I promise you, take 5, 10 minutes. I promise you, you will have complete and full actions as to how to pursue these things just by writing. It's like the pen is the antenna to the heavens. The second it goes onto the paper, it's like suddenly you start receiving inspiration like you've never experienced before. Try it out. I promise you, you'll be coming back and you'll be saying, Gabriel, Gabe, whatever you want to call me, thank you for telling me this. I had no idea I was capable of reaching out to God like I have today. Lastly, I've developed kind of a simple nightly routine for you to get in the habit of journaling and developing your goals and inspirations so that you can make the most out of what you now know. And one thing is a simple question you want to ask yourself. What mattered today? Think about the things that have happened. Did you say hi to your neighbor? Did your neighbor say hi to you? Did your neighbor take your trash out for you or something like that? Think about that. And did that matter to you? What mattered? Right? And it could be something small or it could be great. It could be something as simple as, hey, I had food on the table today. Sometimes it's like that. It is. I'm not going to lie. It was like that for me last year. Just simply having a meal, you don't realize how grateful you can be when you lack something. And then next, did I act like it mattered? Did I act like it mattered? Did I even say thank you to my Father in heaven? I think the second we become prideful or the second we think that we don't need God's help anymore, is the second life gets really, really difficult. And I've seen that for myself. I think you've probably all seen that for yourselves as well. And I definitely experienced that this past year, and having a journal helped me to realize that, you know what? God really does bless you in ways you don't even think about. And the second we start to recognize that, the more our lives become rich, they become more fulfilling. Your life fills with purpose. You feel that connection to God that you've been praying for ever since you were just a child. Then the last question I want you guys to write down, or the answer to this last question is, I want you to write the first action you'll take tomorrow. Not the perfect plan, just a single step. What is the one thing you will do tomorrow? And by doing these three things, by answering these three questions and getting real with yourself, I think you're going to find some major results come out of or come into your life. I definitely have for myself. I'm going to tell you guys this. Every single Monday, my wife and I had committed at the beginning of 2025 to reserve a room in the library and have a financial meeting. And it became more than just that. We made plans for business. We made plans for even some of our smaller goals. Like I had a goal to paint 50 paintings last year, and we were able to plan those things out, plan out plans of action that we would have to take, how we were doing with them in the first place. And by doing that, things changed in our lives. We had a couple of things that we felt were impossible. For example, we somehow had to save I can't remember. It was like $6,000 we had estimated we'd have to pay for taxes last year. It might have been less, might have been around 4,000, but it was a lot. We're both 1099 employees, so you get taxed all at once at the end of the year. And we'd just been married. I'd paid for her ring. We'd paid for everything for the wedding, paid for all these things that were extremely expensive. And of course, we got married in October, so a couple months thereafter, we have to pay for taxes, of course. Our yearly ritual. Anyways, we started taking these Mondays to make small steps. And sometimes we calculated the money we were going to be making and realized that it was just downright impossible. It really felt impossible to achieve anything. We would think, how on earth are we supposed to come up with an extra $500 or an extra $1,000 if we're already $500 over budget? And it was really like that. And so we got desperate. We would donate plasma and we would do all these different things. And it's crazy to say that we stooped that low to literally give our blood so we could pay the government to, fight foreign wars for us or whatever they're doing, whatever. I mean, hey, we got a pothole on our street still that we keep hitting, but it's all good. It's all good. Whatever we want to do with our money. I wouldn't be doing this story any justice. I wouldn't be doing God any justice if I didn't tell you miracles happen in our life. Even though we were in a hard situation, even though hard things happened at the same time that just stacked, like my car's turbo going out and all these different things. The types of things the inspiration we received, the revelation we received to get out of that, to fight the hardships that we were facing, couldn't have come from anywhere else but from God. And I promise you guys, as you pick up a journal, as you start writing these things down and making a habit of answering these three questions every single day, not only will you see miracles in your life, but more will start coming into your life. Your life will be flooded with goodness and joy and gratitude. And you'll see the hand of the Lord in every aspect of everything that you do. And that's a promise. And I can promise that because I've seen it in my own life. And that's why I'm going to be making a habit of journaling every year, hopefully for the rest of my life. It's something I've learned to love and care about. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell icon too while you're at it so you don't miss any of my future content. YouTube's got this weird thing where if you don't hit that bell, you won't know when I'm uploading. I'm not going to lie. It'll just hide everything. So I don't want you guys to miss a thing. I'm studying just for you through prayer, through scripture. And I know you guys are going to find fulfillment right here on my channel. See you later. Bye.